You're such an asshole.
All right, continuing on the afternoon because the work never ends over at assholeconsulting.com. Hi, Cap. Anonymous video response, please. Please let me know how much for the following. To the point, former vet currently working in the world of IT, making right now $100,000 for a place. You live in a place and you have $150,000 in the bank and investments of over $500,000. I'm married and in my mid-40s with no kids. I've been debt-free for the past 5 years and continue living Poor Richard's retirement lifestyle, which is a great book. You should all get Poor Richard's Retirement. Given a 6% growth in my investments over the next 10 years or so, continuation of living minimally debt-free, I should be able to retire at 57. At least that is what my financial advisor has recommended, although there are other variables involved. My question is, given the current landscape of the economy and net government, what would you do with $150,000 in the bank? I cannot provide investment advice. I can only give you options of which you can further research and figure out. Watch the video why nobody can give financial advice. And the very simple reason is no one knows what's going to happen. I wish I knew what was going to happen to the stock market. And I never have to work a day in the job of my life. I was like, well, I'm investing in that because I know tomorrow I'm God, I'm Jesus, I'm Yahweh, I'm whoever. I'm the spaghetti monster in the sky. I know that stock's going to increase tenfold tomorrow. I'm going to invest in that. Boom, Cappy's retired. And good night, everybody. No, I don't care what degree you have. I don't care if it's advanced in statistics or finance or the world's greatest finance. You cannot predict the future. No one can. And so I cannot give financial advice. I can just tell you different asset categories that you may want to consider investing in later on. Some of which might be good for you. Some of which might be horrible. You don't want to invest in them. But thankfully, you have a financial advisor, and I would run it past him or her. So as I said, thus far, I have treated it like a box in the backyard, trying to keep it as protected liquid cash. Also, given the numbers, lifestyle, and estimated growth above, do you feel early retirement is attainable? Yeah, for you guys, if you're minimalist, yeah, $500,000 easy. If you keep working, absolutely. Unless like your parents lived an ungodly number of years, like if they were 105 when they died, well, then you may want to continue working anyway. And I have a feeling you're not going to want to retire. I don't think any real man retires. It just isn't possible. You'd be so bored to death. The only men who can retire are worthless men. Where they get like, I just sit on the beach and do nothing. Those are typically the people who've sat on the beach, or not even the beach, but sat on their porch anyway and did nothing, or sat in their basement and did nothing. Real men who are industrious, want to make life count, want to not necessarily accomplish much of anything in their life. They just want to do something. You cannot stand idle hands. You will find something to do. More often than not, it will be employable. It'll generate a little modicum of income. Maybe you won't be making $100,000, but you'll be doing something. There'll be money coming in. Unless you got physically impaired and you couldn't do it. So early retirement is very attainable, but I don't think you're going to fully retire. Not that I will fully retire, just begin doing what I want to do when I want to do it. Yeah, anything could go wrong, but you're in way better shape than the average person. My question is, next question. My current position pays very well, is flexible, and I am established. However, there are limited opportunities in the area, so I've considered looking for a remote job that will allow me to travel and rent Airbnbs at different locations of recon while working. My largest expense each year is the several weeks of vacation I used to travel, and we do more if we can. There are great benefits to working in my position. However, given around the 10 years out of retirement, given around 10 years out from retirement, is it advisable leaving my position now, given my current financial situation? My financial advisor wants me over the $1 million to consider retirement with supplemental income from side. Jeez. Was your wife not working? I guess if your wife ain't working, yeah, you got a ways to go. But if your wife is working, which she should be if you got no kids, and you're a minimalist, and you are a minimalist, like you don't buy, a new fancy truck, a boat, that kind of thing. Should be able to retire. $1 million that's very, very safe, very conservative. All right, I'm not against you doing it, but I am against you doing it the wrong way. Let's answer your career question. We'll go back to investment options for you that you can further research and run past your financial advisor. You got enough vacation right now, you got a pretty darn good thing. you got enough vacation, you can reconnoiter the United States just fine. And with your military benefits, can't you like fly like on standby on military planes or something? And maybe they don't, your wife can't come with, but you have enough vacation time. You could effectively reconnoiter the United States so that in 10 years' time, when you do retire, you can move to your place, wherever that may be. So you can do that. If you had a remote job, what guarantee is it going to be better than the one you got now? I know it's remote, that's better, but sounds like you're good. You're doing well with your current employer. Everything's going fine, which leads me to ask the question, well, why don't you piecemeal it into some form of alternative employment? Do you have a non-compete clause with your current employer? And if you don't, well, can you work a little side gig? Can you do some contract work? The very first step in becoming the 1099 superior race. Why don't you just do a little contract work? Contact a recruiter. What can you offer? See, because you're like, well, I want to get a job that allows me to work remote. You know who's most likely going to be your best employer then? You. So why get another job when if it's going to be 10 years out or 5 years out or whatever, it's not today or tomorrow, why don't you just start looking at some remote gigs you could pick up on the side? You're in the field. There's got to be side work, a couple hours here, a couple hours there, maybe get a regular client, program somebody's website. I don't know what field of IT you're in. Can you do that? Start doing that instead of find another job. And then over time, you build up your reputation, work on the side gig. All of a sudden, you're making 25, 30 grand. And maybe that's enough. Then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, you know, we can retire on this, and this is my side gig, and will supplement my income. Or you'd be surprised. All of a sudden, you're starting to have so much work, you got to turn it away. Well, maybe now that's the time to switch from your main job to your self-employment, your business. And maybe you could work part-time at your main job and go full-time on your own. It depends. You'll know when you get to that road. But yeah, I'm fine with you applying for other jobs. You get remote work and go Airbnb it and cruise around with your wife. But why not also throw your ring into the realm of self-employment? You got your healthcare covered with the VA. Yay. Quality healthcare. What is it? Here's a Band-Aid and some ibuprofen. That's what I would recommend you do before you start sending out resumes. Unless you had a really amazing job that you think you're going to like, and there's a guarantee that there's no BS. But otherwise, no, man, this is one in the hand is better than two in the bush. You got a really good job with a lot of vacation time. Seems to be working. I would not give that up unless you had a for sure thing, whether that's through self-employment or a really, really stable, solid, good job, and you vetted the employer and you looked at the Glassdoor reviews and all that other stuff. So that. All right, now let's go on to your what to do with $150,000 in the bank. That seems to be a bit much. That's you want to have a micro FU fund. So 6 months living expenses. I can't imagine your 6 months of living expenses $150,000. So you should probably invest that elsewhere. Where? I don't know. And this is why I ask the standard questions. All right, what do you got? Do you own any silver, precious metals, or crypto? Do you own bullets and guns? Also, do you have any interest in moving overseas or potentially moving overseas? Also, what does your wife understand about, does your wife think about this? Small silver, but I consider it minimal. I always recommend 200 ounces of silver per person. I have guns and ammo, although I've recently started to stockpile ammo again as it's come back down to an acceptable rate. Good. Guns and ammo are an acceptable allocation. However, I would not say an investment level. It's not for investment. It's just that you have them. Moving within the continental United States is acceptable at the moment. However, moving overseas will not be an option as family reasons. I would say after that point, with the next 10 years, that would be an option as we have traveled many times outside the country. All right. Couple options for you. Crypto. Don't buy it all today. All right. Somehow, over time, get a position in crypto. Like anything else, you probably want a diversified portfolio of it. If you didn't know, crypto is incredibly volatile. Don't invest money you can't afford to lose. Research it. You're like, when should I buy crypto? If I knew, I would tell you. If I knew, I wouldn't tell you, because then you'd erode all the profit potential. I'd just invest. And I'm in a luxurious position because I bought crypto like 9 years ago. I don't have that much, but I got some. I would wait, buy on the dips, that kind of thing. So that's inevitably by the time you retire, you should have a sizable crypto portfolio. Not huge, certainly not a majority of your retirement funds, but some, like an insurance policy, because that's what crypto is. It's an insurance policy. And if you needed a quick rule of thumb, I'd say roughly one Bitcoin worth. Not all Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum, maybe Litecoin, some. You have to research it. I'm not some crypto genius or expert, but I do know you want a little bit. So there's that. Get 200 ounces of silver per person. Sounds like your ammo and guns are taken care of. Sounds like you have a financial advisor, so he's taking care of kind of more of the traditional planning things. Maybe you want to talk to your financial advisor about life insurance or some kind of annuity. Keep in mind, those are both money-losing propositions, but it's an insurance. It's income insurance. If you were to pass away, your wife is taken care of. If you get disabled or, even when you're old, you can have a string of payments coming in through an annuity. Look up annuities. Again, they are a money-losing proposition. You are not investing. You are insuring. Pretty much everything I'm telling you is a money-losing proposition because it's all insurance. You don't want your crypto going to the moon. That means something bad happened to the economy. You don't want silver at $10,000 an ounce. That's something bad happened to the economy. You don't want to rely on your annuity because something bad happened to you, or life insurance. I mean, you're dead. Those are things to consider. Then what else? If there are any other credentials you could get certified in that would significantly increase your wage or certainly make you more employable, that's another investment you could make. Just trying to think of if there's anything else. Did the investments, silver, crypto. About the only other thing I could think of would be this, and that is you reconnoiter the United States or you go overseas, and either here in the United States, after you've done reconnaissance, man, and you found out where you want to live, buy the land out there. Find a piece of land you want to build on, buy it. Wife, is this where you at? Where's where we're at? Right here? Or this is that? All right, buy it. All right. You find it in 3 years from now, 5 years from now, just buy it. Because at the rate we're printing off money, make money printer go burr. Can't guarantee the price will go up, but at least you lock your price in. And you're not going to pay more. You paid what you paid. You're not going to pay more. Don't complain to me, oh, prices went down 50%. Oh, well, that gets your construction costs have gone down then by 50%. So that's in the United States. The other thing you may want to think about doing is investing overseas. Different ways you could do that. Some would argue crypto, certainly. I am more leaning towards buying land overseas, namely because the United States government can't confiscate it. They can't go over to Belarus and dig out the land. All that's underneath the land is more land. So, I mean, I guess I'd have a big hole. Thank you, U.S. government. But if that's kind of where my thinking is taking. Like, I need a life raft out of this country, given the way they're anti-success, anti-male, anti-white, preferential treatment to anyone but. And that's not even my concern. Tax rates aren't even my concern. And freedom of speech is certainly one thing to be concerned about. I'm worried about a competency crisis where we're going to have too many stupid people. They're not going to be able to maintain the basic infrastructure of the country. There won't be enough electricians. There won't be enough electrical engineers. There won't be enough tradesmen. There won't be enough programmers. And you can already start to see it a little bit. That's what concerns me. So going overseas, reconnoitering overseas to find a stable culture, a stable country, whether or not they like you or not, right? They may not like you and they may discriminate against you. Fine, at least whatever. The Taiwanese are keeping their culture. At least they're keeping it stable. Right? Fine, you're Gaijin or Gaijin over in Japan. You're not allowed in certain clubs and places. You're not Japanese. Fine, keep it that way. It means they're keeping the place stable. But that would be, and that's going to take a lot of research. It's going to take a lot of time going overseas and find out where you want to move. That's going to take a lot of time and research. But that's another thing you might want to think about. And then I've mentioned this before, but let's say you want to invest in real estate for whatever reason, but you don't want to own a house or a property. Talk to your financial advisor about real estate investment trusts. See if he or she would recommend that as part of a portfolio. A little diversification in real estate. Now I presume you own a house. So you already are exposed to real estate, but if you wanted more exposure to real estate, you could do that. But that's that. So yeah, that's about it. It's not conventional. It's non-traditional, but we live in non-traditional times. All right. Any super chats? We got a super chat. Whoa! Holy cow! Hey, Michael Kingswood, world famous author of the website noncommunistsciencefiction.com. If you guys like science fiction, but you're not a communist, go to Michael Kingswood's site, noncommunistsciencefiction.com, and buy some of his books there. Good books. $5. Retirement is BS. Yes, he would know. He is retired. All part of the postmodern civilization destroying con job. Who wants to sit around doing nothing? Inferior people, losers, parasites. See, Mike, you mistake and assume people are like you, are logical like you. You assume most people had some kind of epiphany and either religious or they're maybe not, and they realize they're finite and they want to make their life count. Most people want to exist in ease and luxury with no intellectual stimulation and no challenge and no production. Most people would prefer to waste their lives, whether that was nature or God that gave it to them. Most people are throwing it back into God's or nature's face. And is despicable and disgusting, and that's why you have every right to take advantage of these people and treat most Americans like human cattle. To be taken advantage of. Moo. Say moo, America. Moo. Good. Give me your freaking money. Teddy KGB, 50 generous dollars. Thank you, Teddy. Boy, Teddy's the best guy. So, boy, Ted's a great guy. What a great man. Virtuous and true. Yo, Cap, the last few days I've been thinking of having you take a deep dive into my finances because I want to retire early to the Caribbean. 42 with a net worth of 1.8 million. I want to know when I can retire. Do you provide this service? I want to know when you can retire now. 1.8 million, you can retire now. Assuming you don't have egregious spending habits, you have a diversified portfolio, it's protected. I'll give you some ever so roughly. In Poor Richard's retirement, I come up with about $300,000. It's more like $350 now in today's dollars. $350,000 to retire in the U.S. as a minimalist, and that's not like this super uber cheap minimalist. But this assumes you only live like to 79. You retire at 65, and you have no big expenses, and you have a house paid off, or house almost paid off. However, I'm thinking of bumping that up to $750,000 because I also think unfortunately, it's the required part of every man's retirement plan to have property or some kind of investments overseas that if you have to leave the country or they confiscate half your assets, you got another half unconfiscatable overseas. Now, again, I'm just dipping my toe into this. The real expert would be Sovereign Man or Andrew Henderson over at Nomad Capitals. Now, Andrew charges an arm and a leg. I don't know if Sovereign Man's a little bit cheaper. And one of these, I may just pay Andrew, like, okay, tell me the countries to go to and which ones to avoid. Here's your check, because it's going to save me a lot of time and travel that I don't have the time for. But mathematically, right now, yes, you could retire in the Caribbean. What you need to do is find out where in the Caribbean. Have you spent time on islands? Do you know what island fever is? I was in the Bahamas. Couldn't wait to go to the Bahamas. I was there for about a day. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. The island of Exuma. And there's nothing. I mean, you're just on an island. It's boring. Now, for some people, you like the island life. And what you really do is you jet around on a boat and you go to different islands. And that's more how you visit people. But you better like island life. But if you need mountains and climbing and hiking and all that, you need road trips. Caribbean is not for you. So that's, and I mean, do I provide the service? I mean, I don't know. I guess I kind of already did for you there. what you would want to do is research the country or the islands you want to go to and look them up on the World Fact Book on the CIA, OECD.org. And if you got a big library by you, go and get the Economist Intelligence Unit and read through the past 4 quarters of those reports on the country you're interested in. And then you got to look into banking rules and laws. Do they have extradition? You know, what if like a bunch of guys expat, 10 years later, President Ocasio-Cortez comes in like, we're reneging on your expat, like you renounce your citizenship. We decide that you still need to pay us half your annual income. Literally trying to enslave you. And since they got way bigger army or military navy in this case than say St. Kitts, which I'm going to assume is now U.S. territory, they go to the St. Kitts government like, hey, give us all their money or we're going to come here and make sure you don't exist anymore. I mean, you got to make sure they don't have extradition treaties. You know, give us that person, he owes us more money. Well, didn't they leave and say they're not citizen anymore? Yeah, we don't care. We passed a new law. So that, but yeah, that I guess that'll, you know, you don't have to contact me. That'll get you started, I guess. If you had any more questions, hire me at Asshole Consulting or hit me up. But that's an afternoon of reading, you know, and it's not a lot, like you're not reading a book about it, but each of these sites have like a report on the country. So you'll educate yourself about the economy and the politics. And you may also want to look at the Corruptions Perceptions Index, transparencyinternational.org. And oh, by the way, yes, go visit the islands. Visit them. Make sure that's the lifestyle you want. That'd be the first thing. Once you figure out, oh, this looks good, go there. And go there for a month. See if you could survive. All right, there you go. Oh, Offshore Citizen is another channel with a guy that offers services like Nomad Capitalist. He might be cheaper. Okay, so Offshore Citizen. There you are. Okay, questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you guys later.